Hello everyone and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 24, and today we start the second time trial challenge for the DrAce MotoGP 24 Ace Academy Championship. So if you don't know what this is, basically these are two time trial challenges ready to prepare for the Ace Academy Championship, which is coming very, very soon. At the conclusion of the third challenge, then we can open up the idea of starting the championship. But basically these three time trial challenges will be a chance for you, a spot for you guys to register and to give all your lap times into the Discord server, so we know exactly who's going to be competing and we can decipher which division players would need to be in, judging by their lap times in the three time trial challenges. So today the second time challenge is now upon us, and from this point onwards, from wherever you're watching the video, it'll be from a week from now. So when I've uploaded this video today, a week from now, this challenge will end and the new one will begin. So I hope that's clear. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section down below, but alternatively you can head over to the DrAce Academy Discord server, join, register, and then compete in the DrAce time trial challenges. Now I will mention it is on PC exclusively. Simple reason is I don't own any console, so maybe in the future we'll advance over to console as well, but for the time being it is PC exclusivity. So quickly, before we do really get into the time trial sessions, I've got this bit of a lap to talk really before I start concentrating and trying to attempt some decent lap times here in the rainy conditions with the Aprilia RSGP. I would like to give a big shout out to Sergio23, designer, moderator, and pretty much everything else for the channel, and me as well. Has made my old Superbike 22 helmet, which of course was made by himself, but he has brought it back to life here in MotoGP 24. So I just want to say a big thank you to Sergio, and in fact, little announcement as well, Sergio is now on console again, so he can now make helmets and designs on console as well. So if you want to get in touch with Sergio for your own bespoke design, then let him know either on Instagram or within the Discord server. But anyway, let's get to it then, ladies and gentlemen. Rainy conditions here in Argentina, the circuit of Termas De Rio Hondo with the factory Aprilia RSGP. Now the Aprilia feels really good in this game, and I've got to say the circuit of Termas feels alright. Probably not as comfortable as I did feel with it in MotoGP 23, but nonetheless still feels quite nippy and quite comfortable to ride nonetheless. I mean, the wet conditions in MotoGP 24 is much improved compared to what it was in the previous installment, so it is a lot more enjoyable and it's not as difficult as you think. I know a lot of riders tend to be put off by the wet conditions in these games, but to be honest, here in MotoGP 24 it's not really that much different. Yeah, the bike feels a little bit different, but honestly it's still very easy to ride. I didn't really change my electronic settings at all, was able to pick up and go for it in today's video. Now I will say you must use exactly everything that I'm running here today. So the Aprilia RSGP, rainy conditions, I must stipulate rainy conditions, not light rain, not wet, it has to be rainy conditions. So please follow the guide, follow the rules, and there will be no qualms or problems. If any of the rules are not followed, then your lap times will not count for this particular challenge. But what I can say is that we're coming to the conclusion of our first lap time, and we'll see what the benchmark lap is. It's a 1:45.319 for the very first time here in Termas in the wet conditions. And also, can I just say, it is great to finally have time trial working for me again. I have had no time trial since the launch of the game. I don't know what it was, but I had a bug that would soft lock me on the time trial screen that would constantly try and upload a lap time that just would never upload, and I just get stuck on that screen. If you're experiencing that, try it offline and then try it online afterwards and see if that fixes it. I tried that multiple times and nothing really fixed it, but on the off chance when I did it once, it did eventually work. So I don't know what fixed it, but it's worth a try nonetheless. But if you're on PC and you do want to compete in these time trial challenges and you are suffering from the glitch in the time trial screen, I would recommend you head over to offline mode, do the lap time there, and then post it into the Discord server. We might not be able to see it online in the leaderboards, but as long as you've got evidence and proof that you followed the guide and you followed the instructions and you have a lap time, then we should be fine to separate you into some sort of division when the MotoGP Ace Academy Championship begins. Now, all those will be live streamed on the Monday evening at every single week. Still to decide on how many tracks and which tracks they're going to be, so please don't ask for any sort of little insight, because they are yet to be decided, and I wouldn't disclose that information until myself and the race coordinators have decided when it is time to announce. So across the line here, we're actually going to get not quite identical, actually improved the lap time, not by much, but enough to at least say that was an improvement on the lap time. So yeah, on lap 3, I must confess the bike is beginning to feel a little bit more comfortable. Felt pretty good straight off the bat, but I'm just trying to find the benefit and the feeling of the standard brakes that the game has given us. I didn't change the brakes in this one, it's completely whatever it is for the front, and I do believe we've got the higher brake disc on the rear. My usual go-to is to swap to the smaller rear brake disc. I find it feels much better here in MotoGP 24, and I find with the rear brake here with the bigger disc, the more I use the rear brake, the more the bike gets out of shape. Prime example right there, goodness me, couldn't have timed that any better. Just getting too aggressive on the rear brake, just kicking it out for absolutely no reason. If you're suffering from that in your game, try the reduced rear brake and also try changing your engine brake settings. I do have a video of engine brake coming this week, so make sure you're subscribed, and I'll be dropping that very, very soon. So we must first do Moto 2 career mode though, of course. Really excited to show you that and really get into it, as that is fast approaching, as we've already completed the first season in our MotoGP career mode, and of course that ended with a World Championship with the Bowie Motorsports KTM team in Moto 3. So now on to the right hand side. This is turn 12. Little bit wide there, as a matter of fact. I've lost a bit of confidence with using the rear brake mid-corner. Hopefully I'll figure it out, but to be honest, I might do another lap. Oh, that's really wide. I really felt that that was going to be off the circuit then, and that's really easily done to invalidate the lap time. I know a lot of you guys, especially the fast guys who are trying to improve their lap times, they will actually just go full send into that corner. They won't even slow down a little bit. And I would probably say they take an inspiration from the MotoGP esports riders. They seem to do that all the time. Instead of concluding the lap time still on the motorcycle, they'll just launch it into that final corner and cut off the circuit. Now, I did notice I was starting to use the ride height device a lot more in this than I probably wanted to, and now I'm more aware of it. I think I'll reduce using it here in the wet conditions. I don't know if it's actually making much of a difference, but to be honest, it doesn't feel like the right choice to use. So what I might do is I might stop using that for the next couple of laps, but play it by ear. We'll see what happens when we get to the next lap. But I think after this one, I'm going to change the rear brake. Yeah, I'm going to change that because I do feel that the rear brake is better with the smaller brake disc. It just works better for me, so I'm going to do that instead of using the default 8-inch brake disc potentially. I think that's what it is. I'll go for the 7-inch instead. But now into turn 9. Very difficult corner to get right, but I do love this part of the circuit. It really reminds me of Jack Miller attacking it with anger like he did on the Pramac Ducati many years ago, probably around 2018-19. He was absolutely battering it into those corners. It was fantastic to watch. Really good stuff from the Aussie. We're now into the right-hand side. Very tight to the apex there for turn 13. We have found time, so we should conclude this lap time with an improvement across the line. It certainly is, 1:44.702. So back on the track, I have just done a very quick outlap here, and we're ready to go once again. Tyres all up to optimum speed and optimum temperature. Now we're running the same front brake disc, but with the updated rear brake disc, so it's going to be a 7-inch brake disc instead of the larger 8. And already, I must confess, this feels significantly better. A little bit more confident in the front end as well. I did notice earlier as well, I don't know if it was just on the back of my mind, but I've been trying the Xbox Cloud recently, and I only own a PlayStation controller, so to get it to work with the Xbox Cloud, I did have to try DS4 for Windows, and I noticed my controller felt ever so slightly different when recording this video, so I feel like I might have left that on during this video, which was a small mistake on my part. Didn't feel terrible, but it definitely felt a little bit strange in the controller. Felt like maybe something had changed, a different dead zone perhaps. So I think once I turn that off, I think I will be a little bit better. But I can tell you this, that the rear brake significantly feels better, especially going into these corners here. I'm quite rear brake strong. You can see in the bottom right corner of your screen there, in the graphic, the green on the right side is your acceleration, the one to the left, the smaller one, is your rear brake disc, and of course the bigger one is your front brake disc. So yeah, the difference being, I can use it with more strength, let's say, and I would also say I'm being a bit lazy with it, because instead of being gentle and modulating it a lot with the other brake disc, I feel like I'm just pressing it a lot and holding, which is a bit of a lazy way of doing it, but it does feel a bit better. So I think it's going to definitely have some benefits, but the lap time, quite clear to see, it's done me a lot of good. And the thing most important about the wet weather conditions is confidence. Confidence, feeling, and being calm and collected. There's nothing worse than tensing up because you've seen rain and just thinking, well, I can't do this, it's over, I might as well forget it. That's the wrong attitude. You want to just be thinking, you know what, here's a chance for me to just increase the traction control ever so slightly and just take your time. I find that the more lap times you do, the better it will come. Like everything in life and in MotoGP 24, just take your time and practice. There's no real secret to MotoGP, just practice. You'll get the feeling, you'll get that muscle memory, and you'll be right there with it. I read a comment a few days ago where people were saying that we were discussing regarding the MotoGP 24 career mode, how it's been quite easy for me on the maximum difficulty. And some people say, you know, they can't believe the skill level I've got. I'm not even that good compared to the likes of the esports players. They're on a whole new level. I'm not even the fastest ace in my own Discord server. I'm pretty good, but all I've done is put a lot of time in practicing and playing the game with the focus on enjoyment more than lap times. And honestly, the best advice I can give you if you're watching this right now is to do the same. Don't stress about my lap time, don't stress about someone else's. Focus on your own and enjoy the game. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now, because I've found a bit of time, at least I had a bit of time. Now we're going a bit grey here, so I might try and go a little bit later on the brakes here. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. That's not going to work at all, is it? Well, I did get confident, and a bit perhaps too overconfident. Unfortunately, that actually invalidated the next lap time. I don't know what I would have benefited from going wide towards the pit lane entrance at the end of the lap. I understand that they have a certain cut-off point, so if you invalidate anywhere pretty much near the sector 4 final corners, usually it will also invalidate your next lap, but it seems a bit unnecessary to penalise you for the next lap here. But I might launch into the right hand side here, and I don't know about the ride height device, I really don't. I don't think it's wise to use here. And even without it, as you can see, it's just absolutely fine. You can also manipulate your anti-wheelie here as well, because you're not really going that aggressive on the power. I also find upshifting early helps a lot with the wheelie, and also helps a lot with the spinning. So, few pointers for you guys to take away from you, especially if you're going to be competing in the MotoGP 24 Ace Academy Championship Time Trial Challenges. Wow, say that fast. I have to say it the full way, otherwise you can't build a brand without saying it properly. A bit deep there for turn 7, as a matter of fact. Losing for 3/10 of a second. Not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. We're 3/10 of a second down. So we should still stay within the 43s. I'd be happy with that. I don't want to invalidate another or drop back into the 44s. I felt like we had a good rhythm of improvements a moment ago, which has been halted. In fact, no, it was not an improvement, because it was a 144 rather than a 143. But into the right-hand side, tight to the apex, back across into the left, quick upshift to third here, so you've got a nice run across the line. Don't know if that's exactly necessary. I think I'll go by feeling more than actually... oh my goodness, we're wide again into turn 1. A tremendously difficult corner to get right. I guarantee many players will run it wide into turn 1. It's one of those corners. You have to use a lot of side grip to brake into the first corner. braking straight and then turning in doesn't quite work out. So I would definitely suggest trying both methods, but I think you'll find that side brake, braking a bit like Pecco Bagnaia, will benefit you into turn 1. Now, I've not exactly been stellar here going onto the brakes, so let's see what happens this time going into the right-hander of turn 5. Not bad. I felt like I could have been a little bit later on the brakes, perhaps. Felt like I sort of just slowed myself into the corner rather than being in the right position already. Now, I just do want a quick mention, actually, by the way, is I do really appreciate Milestone's testing liveries that they added into the game. Of course, it was a DLC, but they do look really cool, I must confess. I like the way the Aprilia RSGP looks with the testing colours. It's not significantly different from the main RSGP livery, but it looks good. I do really like this style and design, and for the first time I think I'm using Ixon leathers. Oh, too tight to the apex again. What a muppet. Just too tight to the apex. That causes the end of that valid lap time. So I was aiming for 10 laps, but since I've invalidated 3, I think I might go for an additional to get 11. And I do notice that 11 laps fit on the screen quite nicely at the end of the video, so I might just do 11 to push the boat out a bit. Let's see if we can get back into the 43s. Even though we did invalidate those laps, it does seem the 44 low to the 44 mid is definitely the potential of a time trial lap here in the wet conditions. Well, I must reiterate, because I do not want any confusion, but it's actually the rainy conditions and not the wet conditions. I must confirm that, because I don't want anyone to start by using wet and then claim that I told them you could use wet. It's definitely just rainy conditions. So here we go then, on the brakes, bringing that right boot off just gradually and gently onto the rear brake. Seems to have worked out quite well. Time to be found, time to be gained. Upshifting higher gears seem to be better around these corners. Definitely the what do you call it, the pickup effect mid-corner is definitely quite strong in this circuit, especially in the wet conditions nonetheless. 10th and a half found on the Delta. Still not there yet, but time is definitely in our favour here. We've got two more laps after this one, so still plenty of opportunity to get this one right. To less than a 10th of a second in the green, but as long as it is green, we could improve. And that is the big point. That's the aspect that's got me curious. It's piqued my interest with a capital P. I might not just improve, but this is going to be a good lap nonetheless. And across the line, it is a 1:43.636. That's not bad, but at the time of me recording this video, I have absolutely no idea what the level of our ace is going to be in this circuit. I would hazard a guess, I'm probably going to be around top 5, top 10. That's where I usually am compared to the aces in our server. And now I've gone wide into turn 2 there. That could be it for this lap time already. We might not be ending on a high after all, but just in case, don't forget to like and subscribe. You might give me that extra boost to find some more time here in the Termas De Rio Hondo circuit of Argentina. And, oh no. Yeah, though, I'm getting a bit anxious on the brakes here. The left trigger feeling a little bit strange on the DualSense controller. I also noticed they ever so slight bit of stick drift, and I think it should be a small fix, because if I just wiggle the left analog stick and blow into it, or maybe use some of the, oh my god, what do you call it? I can't think. The powdered air. What do you call it? Powered air. You know what I mean? The air compressor you get usually to wipe your keyboard and things. Yeah, those things. If I push that down into the PS5 controller, into the left analog stick port, it does usually fix the problem, so I don't think it's anything to be concerned about, but I did notice it a bit, especially in the small movements. If I go into photo mode, it'll start moving itself ever so slightly. But I tell you what, all that conversation and talk, and we're actually on a good lap time here after all. It might not be an improvement, because I don't think we nailed that final cut. In fact, we did! Across the line. Where did that come from? On the penultimate lap of today's video, a 1:43.503, after making quite a dog's dinner of turn 3 and turn 5, we've somehow found enough time to improve. Not bad after all. Good to see that we found some speed and some consistency within the final part. Look at the difference on that delta, ladies and gentlemen. Really tight to the apex for turn 3. Still using this exact same electronic settings. Spending time on the bike in this circuit in the freezing cold weather is beginning to pay off. Ooh, not quite so beautiful onto the brakes there. But since we didn't go wide, look at the delta. Look how much time we found. Of course, we didn't find 7/10, it's a little bit misleading, but we did find 4/10. And a lap time a little bit better than that, and we could be looking at a 1:42 in the sodden conditions here in Argentina. This is looking good. As long as we improve on this last lap, I'm quite okay. I had no idea what my potential would be here, and honestly, no targets. I'm happy. Really pleased with this one. Keen to see what you guys can do, so of course don't forget to let me know. Post them in the qualifying channel in the Discord server, but do not comment because we need to correlate all the data together and collate it together, not correlate, as we try and keep on our promise of keeping the green. I'll tell you what, it is looking good across the line any moment now, and it's an improvement. Marvellous. So there you go then, guys. Those last 2 lap times were fantastic. Stellar in the third split on on the penultimate lap, of course, helped us get closer towards that 143 low, and it's all come together on the final lap, but just not quite as confident in the final 2 sectors. Time to be found there, and it could have given us a very low time of a 143.086. But guys, that is it from me. I'll chat to you in either the comment section down below or alternatively in the Discord server. Follow me on all the social media platforms, and I'll see you next time around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.